Caleb, welcome to the Home Services Growth Summit show. Tell us a little bit about you and your professional background.
Well, first off, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be on here. And yeah, my name's Caleb. I'm the founder of Destination Motivation. We've been servicing the home improvement and home service space for, about a decade now. Before that, I actually had a recruiting company servicing the mortgage and real estate industries, which, almost indirectly is kind of how I got involved with this business. Kind of interesting. We were actually purchasing vacation vouchers. At the time, it was called a cruise certificate from some company, and we leveraged it as a catalyst. And because we were recruiting loan originators for big mortgage companies, big high producing loan originators, and most of their business comes from real estate agents. So we created this catalyst: buy, sell, list with us, mortgage or loan originator, real estate agent, and you get this cruise. And it worked brilliantly. We created these open house campaigns, door hanger campaigns, you name it. Real estate people, they're giddy for any free marketing. And
Sure.
that was RESCA compliant, if they co-branded it. The cruise being the catalyst. Unfortunately, when people went to, try to use the cruise certificate, you just couldn't. I mean, unless you were some sort of brain surgeon or rocket scientist. I learned very quickly that every company out there that sells these things relies on breakage, basically, which is their business model. So they actually try to not get you to redeem these things. That doesn't work for companies that rely on repeat business, good customer service scores, all that kind of stuff. And so I set out to try to create our own product because the program works so well, and it was next to impossible. And so it took years, actually. And I finally tricked out on my own. One of my best friends still, Richard, runs that recruiting firm. And I started this company, and I figured out how to create a vacation voucher that didn't rely on breakage.
Great point. And I'm glad to see you got out of escape recruiting too, because I also escaped. It's necessary. It's a rewarding part of my life, but
it teaches you a lot about sales, because you have to sell the company, client on your ability to recruit for them. Then you have to sell the candidate on yourself. Then you have to sell the candidate on the opportunity, and then you have to sell the opportunity on the candidate. So it's quite a complex, matrix of selling.
And eat a lot of humility and humble pie in between. So, because it's the only product that can change its mind,
There's a lot of rejection.
Yes, exactly. Well, so I'm going to play a little dumb on this. I know my wife would say I've been playing dumb for way too long in our marriage, but that's another story. But I like what Destination Motivation does, especially in home services. I'm not going to lie. I'm a big proponent of this, but explain to people what it is your company does with these and what a vacation voucher specifically is for home services.
Yeah, great question. I mean, yes, we do have a vacation voucher as our product, but we're not necessarily a vacation company. We're more of a system. And the system is designed to help home improvement companies and home service companies really kind of increase their close rates and reduce their risk to rescissions or cancellations. And you can really leverage this, through the customer journey. So you can leverage it up front as a call to action and lead generation. Hey, don't give up your next vacation for a new roof, ... get both kind of thing. That today has now worked better than ever because of how much COVID has put attention on how important vacations are to homeowners and how they don't want to give those up. And when you buy a $10,000 to $20,000 home improvement project, you're oftentimes weighing that out in the balance. Like, do we want a home improvement or vacation? And the home improvement companies that offer both they're able to really maximize that lead potential and increase their close rates, decrease their cancellation rates, and create some more profitability because they don't have to discount as much.
So basically, when people are looking at using this as a lead magnet, basically they would go to a client's website, fill out a form, and they would see a way to redeem this potential voucher, correct? That's typically the setup on a website.
They would see a potential of qualifying,
right,
potentially for a vacation voucher with purchase.
And is that how you typically see this as a lead magnet tool?
Well, it's all the above. So it's clients inject this into TV commercials, radio ads, direct mail pieces, online.
Right.
But I wouldn't say it's 100% of the time. It's like any form of marketing. I mean, you test, you turn on, you turn off, and so we have a lot of clients that are in cold areas that do it in the winter time.
Yeah.
And not necessarily in the summertime, because in the wintertime, a picture of a beach looks pretty dang enticing.
Well, as you can tell, mentally, I'm here all the time anyway.
So,
but I think it's amazing. So often, I think I jump towards even thinking about the website, but I have seen these in TV commercials as well. I think it's a great lead tool. Talk about this also as a sales closing tool a little bit further. A little more around, you provide the strategies and the systems for these external teams that use these processes that are built around these vouchers. What does that basically entail?
Well, to your point, foundationally, our program is in the sales process. So we very easily, very quickly, very effortlessly incorporate this into the sales team's sales process. And it's leveraged as either a traditional incentive, like you would a discount or a price drop, or as a button up, to help with job stickiness. Going into 2024, unfortunately, a lot of companies are going to be experiencing more, cancellations, more rescissions. And so if we can help, eliminate that homeowner's buyer's remorse by providing more value, a much higher quality customer experience, and something extra that's above and beyond the home improvement project, which quite frankly is what homeowners are demanding these days. And it just so happens that a vacation is the most desirable, most high perceived value thing that you could offer somebody, especially when oftentimes they're weighing their option between vacation or a home improvement project. And then you've got some products like a roof or HVAC and plumbing that can be categorized as somewhat of a grudge purchase, to where that's the last thing you want to be spending your money on. And so that is even more. I remember my mom called me last summer, and she's got this rental property, and she's like, honey, I finally understand what it is that you do for a living. I'm like, what are you talking about? You saw me build this company. And she's like, well, yeah, but I just never got it until yesterday. HVAC system went out. I don't know how much these things cost. She's in California. They're a lot, it was like 15, 20 grand. She's like, first thing she thought of was like, holy crap, Scott and I aren't going to be able to go on vacation for like 5 years. And boom, ding, ding, ding. She's like, oh my God, that's what Caleb does. So companies that leverage these, they differentiate from their competition, helps them create urgency when they need it, helps them provide more value, and at the end of the day, they end up closing more sales. So a lot of what we do is we train the sales reps exactly how to position these things. We set them up for success. We know exactly what to say, how to say it, when to say it, and we're very fortunate to be working in this industry because it's so cohesive. At first glance, you might look at this and be like, that sounds weird. What do you, and often some contractors will say that, like, how does this make sense giving away a vacation when we're really there trying to sell windows, and, it really comes down to the homeowner's perspective and, what are they giving up in that process? and what extra thing that commands a very high perceived value, but a very low cost can you provide them? You can provide them a discount, which often companies do, but that's not that big of a differentiator because anyone can offer a discount. But so oftentimes our clients will leverage this always in the sales process. We do have a lot of clients that will offer this, especially now, in their lead setting, because set rates, as I'm sure you've heard, have decreased significantly.
Oh, I'm
And
hearing this a lot from current clients and friends who are using this, and they're using it as part of their appointment process. And
yeah,
so people are canceling those appointments even less, knowing that a potential travel voucher is involved, and it's,
yeah,
the cost way out.
yeah. And one thing that I don't necessarily talk about very often is probably the most profound piece of our program, which is we actually have a brilliant customer service team, that contacts the homeowner, makes an outbound call, old school, to to that. It's no AI. We're, everyone's here in the US. Uh, and they make an outbound phone call to this homeowner about 24 hours after the sale's made. And the whole phone call is specifically designed, to help with job stickiness, to help really solidify that transaction, if you will, to where it's like, two things happen on that phone call. One is like, oh, see, you purchased with ABC, Windows. Congratulations. We love working with them. They're such a fantastic company. Um, you made a great decision. And it's a little pat on the back that goes a long way. That's all people are wanting to hear. Oftentimes they'll get that nagging neighbor that's like, you paid how much? Oh my God, you overpaid, and next thing you know, cancellations are coming down the pipeline. And so the second thing we do is then we just talk about their vacation. Yeah, we're the company that provides a redemption of your vacation voucher. We just wanted to, first off, say congrats, and second off, just give you a courtesy call and answer any questions you might have. And we're not selling them anything. We're not asking for anything. It's just a pure, lighthearted, fluffy, fun call. And the feedback that we get from these calls is, wow, we just don't experience customer service like that ever. We didn't even know it still existed. And sometimes we'll be chatting with them for 30 minutes,
Yeah.
about nothing or something.
Well,
But
one of the things I wanted to tap into too, that I think is important for people to understand is, if they bring in a travel voucher, for example, this is not a new project for a marketing director or a business owner to necessarily have to manage. I think sometimes we run into that and they're like, oh God, now I got to manage a travel voucher program. Talk about the turnkeyness of this, because I think that's important for people to understand that this is not another thing, in air quotes, that they
yeah.
have to spend hours and hours and hours on managing.
Well, there's two things that I could speak to that. One is I was talking to a nice bath company up in Ohio recently, and the owner was like, the one thing I liked about your program is it wasn't this, additional tech thing that I've got to implement, and it's, there's this big onboarding, and I don't even know what the ROI is, blah 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 blah. And it kind of went into a little bit more, but another example is the our mutual friend we were just talking about.
Yeah.
We implemented our program in September of last year. Another nice sized bath company, and they had a 13.7% cancellation rate. Within one day, we were up and running, and by the second day, they started getting results. And for the year, they had a 13.7% cancellation rate. Overnight, it went down to 3.5%. That's a significant number, and it's an instant number. And so there is something refreshing about that. That you can get some instant ROI. You're not throwing oatmeal at the wall hoping it sticks.
Sure. Well, at the conference coming up at the Home Services Growth Show, February 27th to 28th, and you can find out more at HomeServicesGrowthSummit.com. But at the show, you and Dustin Rhodes from Dream Style Remodeling, a longtime client, you've been working with them for quite a while. Talk about what you're going to be covering at a high level. Is this sort of a use case conversation with what you've done with them? Because I know you've got hundreds, if not thousands of clients.
Yeah, we're going to be going into a few different. He's a very successful sales manager, like one of the most successful I've seen out there in terms of what he's done with his team. I've attended many of his sales meetings, and they're some of the most incredible sales meetings I've ever attended. He could write a book just on how to run a sales meeting. And so we're gonna have sort of a back.
Don't give him any ideas. He's already written one book, so he's gonna listen to this and want to do that. So
I know he's honestly got about 17 more books on the queue. But we're going to be talking. 2024 is going to be a unique year. Leads are going to be somewhat interesting with the election coming up in November. There could be a decline there. Cancellation rates have kind of ticked up. Set rates have ticked down. I mean, there's definitely some struggles out there. So we're gonna have a back and forth conversation about how a lot of those things that are happening out there are going to intensify competition. Competition is going to become more fierce. On the lead side of attracting potential customers, and on the sales side, closing customers, and then keeping them, of course, retaining them. So we're going to talk about some strategies there, not just with the vacation voucher system, but some other things that Dustin's doing that have been wildly successful. So I'm really excited. I know he is too.
Well, Caleb, people should go to the summit to meet you and hear that session. But if not, where can people find out more about you and your team and how to get in touch with more information?
Yeah, feel free to go to our website, increaseoursales.com. So it's increase, OUR, sales.com. And we would be happy to see if there's an opportunity to work together.
Outstanding. Caleb, thank you so much for being with us today on the Home Services Growth Summit show.
Thanks for having me.